Are you overwhelmed by debt? Let's talk about why it's crucial to address this issue. Debt, much like gravity, exerts a force that can pull us down, if not managed well. It's the invisible weight on our shoulders, the constant worry in our minds, and the silent partner in our lives that we never asked for. Imagine for a moment the life of John. John was drowning in a sea of bills, barely keeping his head above water. The strain was affecting his work, his relationships, and his health. But John decided to take control, to understand and address his debt. Today, he's no longer merely surviving, he's thriving. His story isn't unique. There are countless Johns out there, people who've transformed their lives by taking that crucial first step towards financial freedom. Addressing debt can be a transformative journey. It's time to take the first step. Now let's delve into the different types of debt that might be burdening you. There are several kinds, each with its own characteristics and impacts on your financial stability. First, we have credit card debt. This type is particularly tricky due to its high interest rates and the ease with which you can accumulate it. If left unchecked, it can spiral out of control quickly. Next, we have loans. These include personal loans, student loans, auto loans, and more. Each has its own set of terms, interest rates, and repayment schedules. Then there's mortgage debt. This is typically a long-term debt associated with homeownership. While it's a large debt, it's often viewed more favorably since it's tied to a tangible asset. Now, understanding these types of debt and how they affect your financial stability is crucial. It helps you prioritize which debts to tackle first, based on factors like interest rates and total amounts owed. Understanding the types of debt you hold is the first step towards managing it effectively. Armed with the knowledge of your debts, it's time to gather your financial data. Think of this as a fact-finding mission, where you're the detective and the clues are hidden in your bank statements, credit card bills, and loan documents. Start by listing all your debts, including credit cards, loans, and mortgages. Next, understand the interest rates associated with each debt. This isn't just a number, it's a key factor that can either accelerate or slow down your debt repayment journey. Remember, the higher the interest rate, the more you're paying over time. Finally, identify your minimum payments. These are the smallest amounts you must pay on each debt to avoid late fees and credit score damage. Knowing these numbers will help you stay on track and avoid any nasty surprises in the future. With your financial data in hand, you're ready to assess your debt. Now that you have your financial data, it's time to assess your debt. Assessing your debt is a bit like standing on the scales after a holiday season. It might be a bit of a shock, but it's crucial to know where you stand. How do you do this? By using key metrics. Let's start with the debt-to-income ratio. The debt-to-income ratio is a percentage that shows how much of your monthly income goes towards debt payments. It's like a financial health snapshot. To calculate this, divide your monthly debt payments by your monthly gross income. If the resulting number is high, it means a significant portion of your income is tied up in debt, which may make it harder to meet your other financial obligations. Next, we have credit utilization, another critical metric. Your credit utilization rate is the amount of your available credit that you're using. It's calculated by dividing your total credit card balances by your total credit card limits. A high credit utilization can negatively impact your credit score, so it's something to keep an eye on. Now, these numbers might seem a bit daunting at first, but they're incredibly helpful tools. They give you a clear, honest picture of your financial situation. They show you how much of your income is swallowed by debt, how much of your available credit you're using, and how your debt might be affecting your credit score. The key here is not to be discouraged by these numbers. Instead, use them as a starting point, a baseline to measure your progress. Remember, everyone's financial situation is unique. So what might be a high debt-to-income ratio for one person might not be the same for another. It's important to remember that assessing your debt isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. As you begin to pay down your debt, your ratios will change, reflecting your progress. It's a good idea to reassess your debt regularly, to keep track of your improvements and adjust your strategy if needed. Understanding your debt is the first step towards conquering it. And with these tools at your disposal, you're well on your way to doing just that. Now let's discuss strategy. Have you heard of the debt snowball and debt avalanche methods? Well, these are two popular approaches to tackling debt. The debt snowball method advocates for paying off your smallest debts first. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. You start small and gradually build momentum. This method can be motivating, as you'll see immediate progress as you eliminate smaller debts. On the other hand, the debt avalanche method encourages paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. Picture an avalanche, gaining speed and power as it rushes down a mountain. This strategy can save you more money in the long run, as you'll be reducing the amount of interest you're paying over time. Both strategies have their merits, and the best one for you depends on your personal circumstances and your financial mindset. Remember, the key is consistency and commitment. Choosing the right strategy can significantly expedite your journey towards financial freedom. Now let's talk about the importance of setting smart financial goals. To conquer your debt, you need to know exactly where you're heading. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, or SMART goals, can serve as your financial compass. Specific goals are clear and well-defined. Instead of saying, I want to pay off my debt, say, I want to pay off my credit card debt of $10,000. Measurable goals can be quantified. Include the exact amount you wish to pay off. Achievable goals are realistic. Don't aim to pay off all your debt in 1 month if your income doesn't allow it. Relevant goals align with your long-term financial plans. If you're aiming for a debt-free life, your goal might be to pay off your highest interest debt first. Time-bound goals have a deadline. Set a specific date by which you want to achieve your goal. With your SMART goals in place, you're ready to create a budget. A scene script. Budgeting is a crucial part of controlling your financial future. Let's create one that works for you. Budgeting is about gaining control over your money. It's not about restricting what you spend, but rather giving you the freedom to spend without guilt or worry. A budget is a financial plan that helps you prioritize your spending and balance it with your income so you can afford the things you need and want. Let's start by listing all your income sources. This includes your regular paycheck, any side gigs, and even occasional earnings. Make sure to count every dollar that comes in. Next, you'll need to list all your monthly expenses. Start with the necessities: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, and minimum debt payments. Then consider non-essential expenses like entertainment, dining out, and shopping. It's crucial to be honest with yourself about your spending habits. Now's the time to crunch the numbers. Subtract your expenses from your income. If you end up with a positive number, that's great. You're living within your means. If it's a negative number, you're living beyond your means, and you'll need to make some adjustments. Look for areas where you can cut back. Remember, the goal is not to deprive yourself, but to find a balance that allows you to live comfortably and still pay down your debt. It's also essential to allocate some money towards your debt payments. This should be above the minimum required payment. The more you can put towards your debt, the quicker you'll be free from it. Don't forget to factor in some savings too. Even a small amount can add up over time and contribute towards an emergency fund or future financial goals. Lastly, review your budget regularly. Life changes, and so will your income and expenses. Regular reviews ensure your budget stays relevant and effective. Creating a budget may seem daunting, but it's an empowering step towards financial freedom. It gives you control, clarity, and a plan to conquer your debt. With a solid budget in place, you're one step closer to financial freedom. While you're addressing debt, it's equally important to prepare for the future by building an emergency fund. This fund serves as a financial safety net, shielding you from unexpected expenses such as medical emergencies, car repairs, or sudden job loss. It's your financial shock absorber, absorbing the impact of life's unpredictable blows. But how do you build this emergency fund? Start small. Even a tiny amount set aside consistently can grow into a substantial sum. Aim to save 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. This might seem daunting, but remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Make regular contributions, no matter how small. Every time you receive a paycheck, make it a habit to set aside a portion for your emergency fund. Consider setting up automatic transfers to your emergency fund. This way, you're consistently contributing without even thinking about it. Over time, these small, regular contributions will accumulate into a comforting financial buffer. With an emergency fund, you're not just conquering debt, but also securing your financial future.